Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host, Scott Friedman, and today we're going to talk about what makes life worth living. And it's the level of vitality that we experience. To paraphrase Howard Thurman, he says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you vitally alive and do that, because what the world needs is people who are vitally alive. And that's what we need. And so the way this all fits together is that the truth of who we are is that we're one with all that exists. We're one with God. We're one with everything. And that alignment, that acceptance of that energy of mind, body, spirit, all being alive makes us joyful, makes us energized, makes us alive. And even when it's calm and peaceful, where we're just accepting and being present with somebody and listening intently. That's still magnificent energy and the energy of just being. And it's that exuberance of being ourself, right? And so if we're accepting someone else, that means we're accepting ourselves. And when we accept ourselves, then that's when we experience all that is good in the world, the joy, the love, the enthusiasm, the laughter, the compassion, all of that. Those are all what I call the divine qualities. And we experience those, and that's experiencing who we are. And so the answer to the question of like, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to understand and accept the magnificence of who we are, that we are one with all things. There is no separation anywhere. And that seems like kind of a big jump, right, for most people, because we think that, well, I'm me, you're you, we're separate, and there's a lot of zero-sum thinking, either I get it or you get it, but we don't, but well, we both can't win and stuff. But that's not where the real value is, and the real measurement of winning is. The real measurement of winning is how much joy we have, how much enthusiasm, how much upliftment we have. That when we're experiencing that, we know we're on our right path. We know we're doing what we should be doing with our life. And we don't feel upliftment when we hurt somebody else or when we stomp on them. We feel upliftment when we lift everybody up. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of win-win thinking, because that's what gives us the joy and the enthusiasm and the energy. And that is a sign that we're doing what we should be doing with our life, is when we feel that profound love and that profound connection to people, when we relate to and identify with people and have that empathy and compassion for them. That's what makes life worth living. And so anything that is not really doing what makes life worth living. And so what happens is that, people think that, well, if I have money, I'm going to solve this problem and stuff. And, there's all kinds of people with money that have diseases and relationship problems and all kinds of difficulties and stuff. Money is good, but it's not the answer to everything, right? It's important to have money to buy food and have a place to live and to be able to do certain things, and to be able to share and to give. But it's not everything, right? Because there are people that have money that still have problems. And but people who are joyful and happy and continually feeling more and more of that joy, they don't really have problems, right? If you look at all the people that live past 100, the one thing they have in common is they enjoy the heck out of their life. So that's the meaning of life, is to experience the magnificence and the power and the creative ability that we inherently are. So it's self-discovery. And that's why they say, it's self-actualization or enlightenment. It's all about just understanding and accepting the truth of who and what we are. So do that and life will be magnificent. And for, speaking for myself, I try my best to identify feelings that have that enthusiasm with them, right? So people called me up and asked me if I was interested in running for office at one point, and I said, yeah. I didn't hear anything for a long, long time, and I get this phone call that says, we have you on a list of people who are running for office. Are you interested in that? And I went like, yeah, And so my enthusiasm was off the charts. So I knew that was something that was like good for me to do, because like, whoa, enthusiasm galore. and every little step along the way to, going to the county and filling out all their paperwork and registering to be on the ballot was fun. And getting inspired about what my yard sign is going to look like was fun, and it's like, I don't know if I'm going to get elected or not, if I'm going to win or not, but every little step is like fun. So that tells me that I'm doing what I should be doing with my life because there's joy in that. And I'm going like, yeah, baby, let's do this. And so I'm doing it and I'm enjoying every step. And it's like, I don't know if the next step's going to work or not. I mean, I didn't know if the county would let me run or not when I went down there, but I filled out the paperwork and they said, okay. And I said, okay with you, okay with me. And then I just get all these, more and more of these inspired thoughts of things that I can do that are just imbued with like, just tremendous joy around running for office. And I go like, cool. I'll do that, and that's immediate payment, regardless of what happens or doesn't happen in future steps, or it's like there's joy right now, and that's all there is. That's all that matters. And so, do the thought, and as I've said over and over again, act on the thoughts that are imbued with joy and love and enthusiasm, with the emotions that you want to experience more of, and then that's what you should be doing with your life. And that's when the inspiration flows, just like I was talking about. I got this idea. It was like for the yard sign. It was so cool. So my friend said, well, we're going to make two. First with like elect Scott Friedman, and then the second one is promoting win-win solutions and the health they create. It's like, oh my goodness. I just think that's just like the greatest yard sign because I'm running for the healthcare district, right? To be on the board of directors of the healthcare district. And it's just like perfect. I was like so excited. Anyway, that's the answer, right? It's like what makes life worth living? Experiencing the magnificent joy and love and enthusiasm and energy that we are, that is always there. And it might look like bursting enthusiasm, but it also could be like profound, everlasting peace, right? That sense of well-being that says that things are okay now, always have been, always will be, and never could be different. I'm just in overwhelmed by a sense of well-being. That's also part and parcel of who we are. And so the more that we're experiencing all those things and acting on the thoughts that generate those experiences, then the more we're living the life we should be living and doing what we should be doing with our life. So do that, and your health will be magnificent, your relationships will be magnificent, your finances will all work out. It'll be wonderful. So do that. I offer thought coaching to support you in identifying the thoughts that are uplifting that you want to act on so they create more upliftment in your life and everyone else's life. Like whenever we uplift ourselves, we uplift everybody. So I offer coaching to help you with that, and you can get an appointment with me by emailing me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com, SCOTTFRIEDMAN40@gmail.com. And we'll dig in and find out. And then we'll also identify the thoughts that are like downers, right? And build the talent and the skill to recognize that those aren't thoughts we want to act on. It's just a thought, and we're not going to act on it because acting on that thought's going to give us more of the emotions tied to that thought. And if the emotions tied to that thought are downers, we don't want that. So on that. So you just kind of let them go and say, yeah, I'm having that thought that I'm not good enough. I'm having that thought that I'll never achieve my dreams. I'm having that thought that this is just make believe and isn't really going to work and stuff. Yep, it's okay. I'm having all those thoughts, but I'm not going to act on them, and I'll just listen for the next thoughts to arrive. And if they're negative and problematic, I'll let them go too. And eventually, it's been my experience anyway, that eventually the uplifting thoughts come. So there's that. The book that I'm inspired to talk to you about today is Negativity, What We Deny Controls Us. So when we deny our negative thoughts, we give them power. So when we fight against them, we give them power. When we accept that they're there and just allow them to be there but not act on them, that's when they lose their power. So that is my featured book for today is Negativity, What We Deny Controls Us, because when we're aware of it, we can choose whether to act on that thought or not. But when we're not even aware that the thought exists, then we lose our ability to choose whether to act on it or to let it go. My books are available on Amazon, and you can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. So rock and roll. So I want to hear from you about what really inspires you. What makes you like, jump up and down and go crazy, right? Because you're so excited and enthusiastic like I am about this running for office thing. It's just like so cool, right? And it's like I want to hear about it. What in your life it has that level of joy and upliftment, and what you're doing to act on that and to make that a bigger part of your life. Because what uplifts you uplifts me. What uplifts me uplifts you. So let's all share it with each other. And our example will inspire us all to greater heights. Okay, bye for now.